Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the In Alignment YouTube channel. My name is Kenny, and today I wanted to share how I started meditating and the things that you can do to start your meditation practice if you wanted to start, or if you wanted to explore and change things up. Some of the things that you could also try in your meditation, and maybe understanding a little bit more what meditation can bring you, or at least what it has brought me. So I started meditating because ever since I was very young, I've always been an empath, and I've always felt a lot of energies and people's emotions and feelings. And it always felt like there were too many people inside of me. And so sometimes what I would realize, or sometimes the things I would experience, was that if I'm having a conversation with someone, I would feel something from them, but their communication or whatever they would be saying would be different from what I'm tapping into, or what I'm sensing or whatever. And then it would cause me doubt, because I've always been the type of person that, I'm pretty straightforward. If I don't want to tell you something, or if I didn't feel at the very least back in the days, if I didn't feel comfortable to share something, I wouldn't lie about it. I would rather tell you that I'm not comfortable sharing it, or I wouldn't say the whole thing. Whereas like today, I'm pretty much like, I don't care. I'm pretty comfortable sharing about anything and everything. But nonetheless, that kind of made me doubt, because then it's like, I felt like if I'm telling you something and I'm not lying to you, then there's no reason why someone else would lie to me or would tell me any otherwise of how they're truly feeling. And so if you would tell me, like, let's say if we're having a conversation, I'm sensing that you're not feeling well, that you're not doing well, there's something that is like in disalignment, and I tell you, or I address it, and you tell me, no, everything is fine, my life is perfect, it's beautiful, whatever, I'd be like, oh, okay. I would take it, I would acknowledge it, but then in my heart, I'd be like, but are you though? Are you? So anyways, so this is like one of the things that kind of pushed me into meditation, and that guided me to finding a meditation practice, or starting my meditation practice, because I wanted to understand myself better. It was never about, I want to understand this person better because this person is lying to me, or this person is not telling me the whole truth. It was more like, I'm sensing a conflict within myself. So how can I understand myself better, and maybe get rid of this conflict, or understand the conflict better and align it. So I would say that I started my meditation practice 6 years ago, like in 2014. And at first I started what we call like chakras. And for those who don't know what chakras are, they're basically energy points along your spine, if you want. And we have 7 main chakras. We have many more chakras, but the main ones are 7. And each energy point, referred to as a chakra, has it oversees an aspect of our life. So for example, our base chakra, or root chakra, which is where the sacrum would be, around that area, that oversees anything that is in the material world. So our basic instincts, our financial stability or lack of, everything that we need in the material world to kind of exist and survive, or to be, right? And for example, the heart chakra obviously oversees, it's like where the heart is in the chest. And that point oversees like our emotional health, our ability to love and to be loved, or lack of, and so on and so forth. So we have 7 main chakras, and maybe I'll make a separate video, or link like a different video, to kind of go through what chakras each chakra is and what they are. And so these chakras, when we are in disbalance, or these energy points, if we're not balanced, once you get a little bit more attuned in your life, you can kind of see how you manifest your reality, and understand that, oh, maybe it's this energy point that is, not balanced, and let me see if I can address it and balance it, or see like whatever's going on there and realign it, or things like that. So for me, I started a chakra meditation. And what I would do, I found this, his name is, it's a guru. He's a guru who passed away. And his name is Osho. And Osho recently, apparently there's like a documentary that came out on Netflix that is a bit controversy. Yeah, something like that. But nonetheless, like he brought really interesting teachings for me anyways. Like I take whatever, well, at the time I didn't even know about him like that, but at the time I took whatever he brought to the world, and because that served me at the time. So Osho, I don't know if it still exists on YouTube, but Osho, I found chakra meditations with Osho, and I think every chakra has like a 7 minute sound. So basically it's like a mixture of sound and his voice, because we also have the power to like change our energy with our voices, and how the energy, like how our voice resonates through the body. That's like another tool that we have, and that can be another video for another time. So anyway, so it's basically his voice that is resonating with for each energy point, and with also like other sounds, I think like singing bowls and things like that. So I would basically just sit in a meditative position, and for me at the time it was in cross-legged position, and I would listen to it, like I would put my earphones or headphones, and then I would go through each chakra and just breathe through every sound. And so that would take me about 49 minutes or 54 minutes, I can't remember. 49 minutes, probably 49 minutes. And at first all I would do is just basically focus on my breathing. And the first thing that I realized is when you're sitting, whether you have sound or you're not listening to anything, for me anyways, what I realized is that because I took the moment to kind of pay attention to my thoughts now, and to breathe, and to kind of, slow down, I would have like many thoughts rushing in, and it's like, all these thoughts that we don't pay attention, that are always happening basically, but we don't pay attention to, that are basically calling for our attention. They would all come rushing in as though like, oh my God, Kenny is finally taking a moment. Let's like, oh, you have to think about this and then that. And at the beginning it was very overwhelming. But one thing that I kept doing, like every time I would have a thought, instead of fighting against it, I would just acknowledge it, and I would speak to my thoughts. I'd be like, hey, I acknowledge you. Right now I'm just trying to relax. I will come back to you later. And if you can just if I can just park you, and I will address you in due time. And then I would again focus on my breathing. This is like something that for me helped me being focused in a sense. And my goal was never to empty my thought process or my thoughts, because I did try to do that. And for me anyways, and for a lot of people that I speak to, whenever their goal is to empty their mind, it's almost like you're challenging your ego, and it's like, oh, you want to empty your mind? Let me show you. And then it just like bombards you with other thoughts, and then it becomes like a struggle and a conflict. And then that's kind of like the momentum that you put in, or you start. And which means that every time you're going to come in a sitting position or in a meditative position, before you even get to that position, your ego or your psyche is already like in what do you call it? Not ready to fight, but it's already like deflecting it, or it's already creating a conflict, because it's like reminding you like, hey, remember, this is not working for us. There's always a conflict or whatever. So for me, that's like one of the things that I did. Instead of fighting my thoughts, I would just acknowledge my thoughts and just tell them, I am making time for you, but right now I'm just trying to just relax, but I will address you in due time. And then I would come back to my breathing, and just like focus on the sound of my breathing, and just like telling myself like inhaling, exhaling, and bringing focus on my breathing. So that's like one thing that I did. After the chakra meditation, which I had like wonderful results with it within like, I wouldn't say a very short time, because that depends on everybody, and I don't want to give like any expectations. But for me, it really gave me just like more a sense of peace, and I felt like much more grounded. And in the beginning, doing an hour plus meditation was really hard for me. So I would just, again, like just keep focusing on my breath. But afterwards, it felt like an hour was like nothing. It really felt so natural, almost like it really felt natural. And afterwards it kind of became like almost like a need, or not so much a need as in if I don't do it I'm gonna die, but it became like part of me, like, oh my god, this makes me feel good, so let me do more of this. And so through that practice afterwards, I wanted to learn to meditate on my own without any sound. So then I stopped listening to Osho, and then I started just doing the same thing that I was doing. So maintaining, or like keep focusing on my breath. And then what I would do to relax myself, I would go through like different parts of my body from head to toes. Head to toes? Yeah, head to toes. So I would start with like my head, and then relaxing my head, focusing on relaxing my head, focusing on relaxing like the muscles around my eyes, and then my nose, like my mouth, my jaw, my neck, and so on and so forth until I get to my toes. And again, every time I would do that, there would still be like some, thoughts trying to creep in. But still, again, I would say like, okay, I'm just here to relax my body. I'll address you when I'm ready, or when I feel more relaxed, or whatever felt like made sense to me in the moment. And so I started doing that. And then soon enough, then I started addressing certain thoughts. So the way that I started was with whenever I would feel triggered. If during the day I felt triggered, or I felt like uneasy, or anything that didn't feel easy, natural, organic, or that felt good, that to me was a trigger. And it was like something, especially if it was something that was hurtful or painful or just like awkward even, I would make a mental note, and then I'll be like, okay, I will bring that forward in my meditation. And so then in my meditation, when I would relive that, that scenario, I would kind of like, once I would be relaxed, I would put myself back into the circumstances, or whatever that the scenario that I was in that triggered me. And then I would ask myself, like, what actually triggered me? Like, why am I feeling this way? Oh, it's because this person said this thing and I felt this way. And be like, okay, well, do you believe that you are this way? I'm like, well, no. And so why are you being triggered then? And it'd be like, oh, well, because this person believes that da 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 da, when I've never showed them any reason to feel this way or to think this way about me. Whatever it is, right? Like you do that exercise, and you feel and you put yourself in like that scene once again, and you ask yourself like different questions, and then you really come to your truth. And then what I would do, I would switch people. So for example, let's say if it was like my boss who triggered me, I would be like, well, okay, if it was my best friend who told me this, would I feel the same way? And be like no. Well, if you don't feel the same way, what is it about your boss that triggered you that wouldn't trigger you if it was your best friend, or if it was your parent, or your sister, or your sibling, your brother, whatever it is? And then you get to, you change kind of bit the scenario and play around with it until you find like your truth, and you find what it is that triggered you, or what it is that actually made you feel a certain way. And so most of the times, if not like all the time, it was never about the other person. It was always about me. And that's the one thing that meditation truly brought me, is taking full responsibility and ownership of my feelings and my emotions, and recognizing that, however I feel is a subconscious choice, first of all, but it's also like, and it can be like, based on a lot of things, like whether it's conditioning, whether it's like belief system, whether it's like, ancestral things that you brought back. But at the end of the day, it's never like this person made me feel this way, or it's because of this person said this thing that I feel this particular way. No, it's always because you, or like for me, I had a belief system, or I had a subconscious thought process, or whatever it is, that person kind of triggered in me and made me feel a certain way, but it was never like this person meant to make me feel this way. And even if this person made me feel this way, I allow that person to make me feel a certain way. So yeah, so anyway, so that's one of the benefits that I feel meditation really brought me. And with taking ownership and full responsibility of your emotions and how you feel and what you create, it really empowers you, or at least it really empowered me, because I recognize that, the more that I did this practice and understood myself, I really grow a lot of empathy and a lot of acceptance in other people, because I understood that even for them, they don't know any better, or even for them, they're just a result of their environment, or even for them, you never know what's going on with someone. And so nobody, at least in my experience, nobody never has like a really evil intention of hurting someone. And even if it's like a subconscious thought, or even like, let's say someone like is out to get you, it always comes from something else. It always comes from like pain and suffering from whether it was like when they were young, or like in their past lives, or something else. But it's never comfortable in their body as well, whether they're aware of it or not. And you just recreate what you know best, and that's kind of what it is. So anyways, so if this has been helpful, please let us know, or let me know. I would like to hear your feedback. And if there's another video that you would like for me to kind of produce or to share about meditation or chakras or whatever else I kind of touch base in this video, let me know as well. If you're having any struggles in your meditation practice, or in creating a mindfulness practice, let me know, and then I'll see how I can help and support you as well. The one thing also that I would like to add before concluding this video is that it does take patience and consistency, such like as anything else. So don't expect to be a pro meditation practitioner in like overnight, and don't put too much pressure on doing it every day. You can have a goal of doing it every day, but don't also go like, I want to do 1 hour every day. If 1 hour every day doesn't make sense to you, it doesn't feel right, doesn't feel good, then start with doing 5 minutes every day. And even if it's nothing like really deep, it's just like 5 minutes you're giving yourself to breathe. If you can do it in the morning when you first wake up, and in the evening before you go to bed, those are the best moments to do that, because in the morning you can also set intentions, and in the evening you can kind of just like do a summary or go over your day and just kind of relax and ground yourself from everything that happened in the day, and then to kind of push forward another momentum for the following day or for your future self. So be patient, and as you keep trying, it will become easier, and it will become more natural and organic. And even for me, I had, it was a bit of a roller coaster. It was like ups and downs, and sometimes I would do it like every day, without missing like a day, and then I would fall back and not do it for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. But then I would also feel the repercussions in my day, so then I would pick it up again. And as long as you just keep it as your intention and you keep trying, then that's the best that you can do, and everything else will just kind of flow eventually. So thank you so much for tuning in, and please help us promoting this video and our YouTube channel by liking, subscribing, and I think hitting the notification bell. I think that's how we say it. And thank you again for all your support, and looking forward to producing another video. Thank you so much.